What's going on, everybody? Today I want to talk to you about this book right here, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Ready Player One is interesting because it has a lot of problems. The dialogue isn't always great, there's a lot of weird pacing issues with the plot, but it is still a fun and moving story. How does it achieve this? Even though this book has problems, the core is fantastic, and those core elements can be replicated in your writing. Let me explain. Number one. Ready Player One has a simple story structure. It's very obvious and linear. The entire book is about this massive video game quest, and so because of that, it's very easy to see the linear path of the book. The characters' objectives are separated into gates that they have to cross, and so we have a very clear understanding of our protagonist's desire as the book moves forward. Our protagonist is on the quest for this secret egg that will save the world that he is in. His quest makes him go through different gates, and so the book is actually divided into these different gates as the protagonist moves along his quest towards the egg. This book's structure is actually so simple that the acts are actually broken up into levels. So there's level 1, 2, and 3 at each of the act breaks for the book. So let me break down the structure of the book real quickly for you. First off, we have level 1. From page 1 to 76, it's setting up the world and initial searches for the copper key. At page 77, the copper key is obtained. At page 115, the first gate is cleared. Pages 116 through 147 are the major threat from the antagonists and the death of our protagonist's family. On page 167, we get level 2. Pages 168 through 189, we have our protagonist's major relationship rise and fall. Pages 190 through 207, we have a catch up on life, and Artemis, the major love interest, finds the Jade Key. Pages 208 and 233, our protagonist acquires an extra life and the Jade Key. Pages 234 through 258, our protagonist passes the Jade Gate. And pages 259 through 264, he gets the Crystal Key. We move into level 3 on page 267. Pages 268 to 303, we have the infiltration of the antagonist's main hub. Pages 304 to 326, we get to Ogg's house, a major player in the end of the story. Pages 327 to 342, we have the antagonist's final fight and death. Pages 343 to end, we have the clearing of the final gate and the end of the story. It's very simple and very linear. This is the type of book where you can predict the end about 30 pages into the story. But that's okay because it's not about a reveal at the end, it's about the journey getting to the end. Number 2, you can feel the author's passion for this story. This book is packed with fun. There's all sorts of these crazy worlds and crazy environments, and there's a ton of world building done on Ernest Cline's part to really create this insanely big and super vibrant and full world that he's created. Ernest Cline did a great job of building this world, and then he let his characters loose inside it to adventure and explore, to encounter all these interesting characters and fascinating worlds and antagonistic forces. Ernest Cline built the world very well. The readers of the book love the world, which is a definite sign of success for this story's world and Ernest Cline's ability to world build. When everyone loves the world of a story, you know you're onto something great. Number 3, and this is the most important aspect of this book, is that Ernest Cline made us care about these characters. The characters in this book are not necessarily the most unique people ever, but we have empathy for their struggles and we root for them as they head towards their goals. Ernest Cline's ability to make us care for the characters is what helped all of these other parts of the book that were not so finely tuned. This is why a book that's so rough around the edges can be so great. Even the awesome world of this book would not save the story if the characters were not good. Characters don't necessarily have to be the most unique creation you've ever made, but they have to feel like people and we have to care about them. If you haven't read this book before, I highly suggest you read it. And if you're new to writing, then I highly suggest you follow these 3 guidelines. Number 1, keep your story structure simple. Number 2, build an interesting world. And number 3, create characters the audience can empathize with. If you can nail those 3 things, then problems like dialogue, pacing, and other issues you might have will not be what people remember about your story. I hope that helps. I'll see you in the next one.